At half of the press. Well, my people, me here for drop the real news, news, reviews, everything in a one right this or right there, my people. So all I want to know to do is like up the video, share out the video, subscribe to my channel, my people. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Let's get right into it.
A corrupt government cannot liberate the people. If the head of the stream is corrupt, the entire river will be also.
A blessed good day to you, my wisdom warriors. Wagwan, wagwan. I hope you guys are in good spirit. Well, I want to take a good look on my screen, my people, because on the notes in the last video, I was talking about National Water Commission. Remember, the National Water Commission come out, and rejects claim of unsafe water in Kingston and St. Andrew. Remember, PNP councillor insists that there's a problem and NWC run out and say a lie. The water is safe. Remember me did a cuss, in the last video. Take a look on the left hand side now. Tell me what you want to see. The National Water Commission has suspended inflows at a treatment facility to conduct a water quality investigation, prompting low water pressure or intermittent supply in Spanish Town and surrounding areas in St. Catherine. It said its quality assurance department is working with the utilities quality regulatory agencies to investigate increased pH levels at the Rio Cova River, a statement said Saturday. The pH level indicates how acidic or alkaline that substance is, with a scale ranging from 0 to 14. Pure water has a pH of 7 and is considered neutral because it has neither acidic nor basic qualities. My wisdom warriors, yeah? Remember, me come out and me did vex about it, because me I say, it look like I didn't want the people them for dead. You understand? Because I was saying, remember, said Jesse came out and Jesse said, currently the water is unsafe to drink. But NWC run out and reject claim and said the water safe. I remember me did I say labor right only drink it, but PNP don't drink it. Remember say labor right, they must say a lie PNP I tell you. So me have to tell them say drink the water. Only labor right drink it. PNP not go drink it. My wisdom warriors. You see, NWC, they don't go out and check things. They just run out because remember say them government own. Remember, NWC is owned by the government. So you can see some politics them a play when we are actually dealing with people's lives. People's lives is at risk. And Andrew Wellness administration take our life for joke. Then take our life for joke. Hey, me no know how people follow behind Andrew Wellness, I don't know how to sell labor right. I don't know how una follow behind Andrew Wellness. Mighty God, can you imagine? Can you imagine? The water is not safe. The water is not safe. PNP come out and talk about it. Jesse came out and talk about it. And NWC run out and say a lie. And look upon them now. Look upon them now. NWC water quality probe triggers supply disruption in Spanish Town. If you come and tell the people them the truth and stop playing mind games, and that do. Know say the water don't safe. Know say the water not safe. Tell the people them say them have to boil the water before them drink it. Or then go buy a bottle of water. That if you tell the people. PNP came out and did the right thing, and Uno come out and tell the people them say water alright. You say Uno? You say Uno labor right? Me tell me want Jamaican people about Uno, Uno the wickedest thing, Me want Jamaican people about Uno all the time. So Uno no care about our health. Me want the people them all the time. But it has come to my attention that Uno like to learn the hard way. Uno really like to learn the hard way. This is why Andrew Wellness administration out here a trick and a fool up and a sweet up. We want 10,000 and 20,000 when them ready. Boy, me I tell you now. My wisdom warriors, my Jamaican people, the people them in a Kingston and St. Andrew, me I beg you boil water. You understand me? If labor right they want to drink it, we don't care about them. You understand me? Because we out here tell them the right thing and them not listen. So I don't care. You understand me? Because we cannot come out and attack to Uno and encourage Uno and I tell Uno good. But Jamaica Labour Party are telling us something totally different. This is a joke. This is a big joke. My wisdom warriors, want to tell me what to think about that. Anyway, I want to take in Mark Golden because Mark Golden was on Wayne Lonesome live, my people. So just hear him out.
Well, bear in mind that the investigators who investigate these matters in the IC are not typically lawyers. They are, doing the forensic work. They have an understanding of the law because they have to apply the law in doing their investigation, but they are not really competent to prosecute cases. So the reason why there is a prosecutorial division within the IC itself, headed by the Direction of Corruption Prosecutions, is because there was a noticeable gap in our ability to successfully prosecute cases of corruption out of the DPP's office. We had noticed over many years that there were a number of situations where prosecution we thought was warranted wasn't commenced, and sometimes we felt that there were political undertones there. And in other instances, there were matters which did come to court and collapsed, including some of the major Ponzi scheme stuff and all of that from, the first decade of this century. So we felt that if we relied on the DPP's office, which is prosecuting murders and rapes and financial crimes and all the rest of it, the corruption prosecutions wouldn't get the priority that they need. So we decided to create a prosecutorial power and capacity within the IC itself and empower it to bring prosecutions. Now, yes, I do agree that it was very disappointing that in the first matter that came concerning Mr. Holness from when he was Minister of Education, the ruling was that there was no ruling that he wasn't, involved in the way that the report said he was involved. Rather, the ruling was, with the passage of time since those events, it would not be feasible to mount an effective prosecution, and therefore she declined to do so. And, she's a experienced prosecutor, and the DPP has a manual as to how you assess whether or not a prosecution should proceed. And I'm sure she was applying that in coming to that decision. But what that case really showed was that the delays that had existed before, because that's one of the legacy cases from prior to the IC, that was from when, when Mr. Holness was Minister of Education under Bruce Golding's government, 2007 to 2011 era. So I think that the thing to do really there is just to ensure that the tools are there for them to do their work effectively. For example, there's something called an unexplained wealth order, which is a thing that has been developed. The UK have it, and some other jurisdictions have it as well. Essentially, where you have assets that look disproportionate to your income, an order can be obtained from the court compelling you to say where that came from, and you can be prosecuted if you don't. We have illicit enrichment, which is the offense in our act, but we don't have the court order procedure to get an order compelling from the judge to allow you to go and really dig into this and get to the bottom of it. This was something that was agreed in the memorandum that set up, the memorandum of understanding that set up CMOC, the Crime Monitoring and Oversight Committee, which was set up really. Peter Phillips really was one of the main people who put that to, brought the people to the table back in, I think it was 2019. And the both parties and civil society groups formed this thing called CMOC, which was really supposed to set out a roadmap for getting Jamaica's crime situation under control. And there were a number of things that were agreed in that document to be done by the government to get to where we need to go. One of the things what was committed to was this thing called an unexplained wealth order. And we are now in 2025. And the last thing I've heard, they haven't done it. And the last thing I've heard, I think, from the Minister Chang was they didn't think it could work.
You know why them think it couldn't work, my wisdom warriors? Because through them a thief. Them a thief and they no want to go to prison. And that them a run for, They know so them backside of Gaga jail, You see how them a build up prison around Jamaica, but them a build one a room, and one up there so, and one down there so. Unu build it, man, because in the unago. In the Unago. My wisdom warriors, can you imagine Horace Chang come out and I make we know say that can't work at Jamaica? Hey, mighty God of Daniel. Mighty God of Daniel, just because the figure them no want go to prison. Cause them know say them a thief taxpayer money. Me people, and you see true they never signed the code of conduct. Problem. Hey, not once a year them come out and say they not thief. You can't hide it, no? You can't see the guiltiness in them face. You can see the thiefness in
The
them
cost of
face.
energy is very high for the consumers, which in extension reduces the country's ability to maximize its production output. Tell us, when your administration take over the political leadership of the country, what are the plans you have in place to make the energy consumption more affordable and simultaneously give the country its full potential to maximize the country's productivity via affordable energy?
All right. Well, that's a very important issue. Energy is really at the center of your economy's development because all industries rely on energy and electricity. And Jamaica has really found itself at this time in a very bad place because we have a situation where our price of electricity is one of the highest in the region. It has gone up significantly under this government, nearly doubled since they came into office. Part of the cost of electricity is the fact that many of our less well-off Jamaicans are not able to pay for electricity, or at least unable to afford to regularize their situation. So they are irregular users of electricity, which creates legal risks for them because they can be prosecuted for it. Fire risks for them because we have a lot of fires, especially in inner city areas where this is going on, and people lose their livelihoods, their assets, and their savings, and sometimes their lives. So it's an untenable situation, but the use of electricity, which is not being paid for by the users, ends up being paid for by others who are, so that's another issue. So we really feel that, especially with the era of climate change, global warming, the crisis around that, we are so blessed with natural energy producing assets, the sun in particular, but we also have wind, and we produce a lot of solid waste, and waste can be converted into energy. And we have hydro, we have rivers, and if we protect our rivers, we can have a very strong hydro energy industry as well. So we are believers in that, and this government really dropped the ball. It is only last year, 2024, that they really came to the public with what we call a RFP, a request for proposals, which essentially is a document from the ministry with responsibility for energy, inviting investors to tender on a project to provide a certain amount of renewable energy to the grid. They hadn't done that for 8 years. Whereas when we left office, there were several projects that were in the pipeline that we had initiated. Some had started, some were coming on stream. And that, in fact, you'd have to say all of the renewable energy in Jamaica today, other than people's homes where they have solar panels, but all of the larger projects that deliver electricity through renewables to the grid were really as a result of the work that we did. So we have shown a capacity to do this, and we're very committed to it. And of course, the sources of renewable energy are renewable, so that the cost of that fuel is less than oil and gas. And therefore, if we can get our renewable energy, especially with storage capacity, in the whole technology around storing electricity is vital, because renewables depend on the sun or the wind or water or whatever. And so they're not 24/7, and so you need to have storage that when you're generating a lot of electricity from renewables, you can store the part of it that you're not consuming, and then when the flow of production falls, you can release what is stored into the grid so that people can have a consistent supply. Unfortunately, the technology around storage is dramatically improving in a very rapid pace. And in fact, one of the things which I haven't discussed yet, but what we're looking at, is how the capacity, for example, for large economic actors, factories, and other big users of electricity, generating their own electricity for using renewables. to, you know, reduce the burden of their, especially in the demand period where they have to pay a very high rate during the demand period, because JPS charges higher rates for that. And this is something which, you know, affects their competitiveness as well. And we want to incentivize this as well. So we're looking at that. I don't want to say too much about it. But, you know, these are some of the things we're doing. We want to incentivize and encourage householders to solarize. And when we're looking at the low-income families now, we plan to roll out, and I've been arguing for this. I've been arguing for this for some time now. The government, this budget now came with something, $1 billion, which, you know, we welcome, but it's only going to impact 20,000 households, whereas the number of households that need this kind of thing, we estimate at 300,000. So a bigger program is going to be required. And the idea really is that we provide some support to low-income families so that they can rewire their houses, get them inspected professionally and certified. They can then become customers of the grid. And then we're going to provide them with solar panels as well, so that they can reduce the costs of being a customer. And, you know, and they can build on it over time. They can invest in a battery over time and store some as well. And eventually their usage will be largely generated by themselves. But in the interim, you know, they will no longer be using electricity which they haven't paid for. And that's very important, because that means that families that are breaking the law no longer will be breaking the law. They'll have proof of address through their billing. If they want to go and open a bank account, they can show where they live, because, you know, that's a big problem for a lot of people who are living in the informal settlements or don't own the land on which they live and that sort of thing. So, you know, this is some of the stuff, some of the ideas that we have and that we wish to pursue. You know, Philip Paulwood is our spokesperson for energy. And Philip has a track record of delivering transformational performance in ministries that he has headed. You know, he was the one who broke the monopoly of cable and wireless and brought in Digicel and really, you know, revolutionized the telecom sector in Jamaica. And I'm, you know, going to be working closely with him to get that done in the energy sector as well. Because, as I said, it is fundamental to national development, economic growth, productivity, and our competitiveness in the world. Wayne,
my wisdom warriors, I want to drop on a comment below. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me how you feel about it. Put on an honest opinion in the comment section. Like up the video, share it out, and subscribe to my channel. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Big up on a nice clean self. One love.